Hey guys, Jim here, back again. Redo Banshee parts and accessories. We are going to be going ahead and disassembling the cases. We're going to take this all the way down and split these cases in half. So there's a few things that we've got to do now that we've got our clutch off and we've inspected the clutch baskets and the inner hub, and we've inspected to make sure everything's good in here and that our idle gear is good and tight. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and disassemble what we need to disassemble, and we're going to split these cases. Okay? So a couple things we're going to do first. We're going to pull our shift shaft right out. As long as your shifter's off the other side, it'll come right out. Okay? And then we're going to just start taking off a few of these items inside these cases that that we don't need. Now, if you're just splitting your cases and you're going to leave your transmission intact, you don't need to take any of this stuff off. But for illustration purposes, we're going to blow these cases all the way apart and we're going to take the transmission and everything out. So I'm going to show you on this video how to take everything apart. But like I said, if you're just pulling the cases apart to change a crank or change your bearings or seals, then you do not have to take these lower transmission items out. Okay, so a couple things that we're going to look at here is I use a special tool when I'm taking out these two screws and these two screws. Okay, this is a half moon keeper here that holds the cases together, so this has to come apart. So sometimes these are really hard to get out. We'll see how hard these are. Okay, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and use this tool, and we're just gonna bust everything loose here. So if you don't have an impact driver, I suggest you get one. These are, you can get them at Harbor Freight or wherever, and they're inexpensive tools. And all you do is you just set it to make sure that it's, you can check to make sure that it's actually turning the right way. You see that when you push it down, it does turn counterclockwise. So we're gonna put it in here. We're just gonna give her a little smack. That's gonna loosen our screw right up, okay? Now these screws have Loctite on them, and that's why they're so hard to get out from the factory. You're probably gonna wanna put a little dab of blue Loctite back on these when you put them back in. Just blue, not red. Okay, and we'll smack this guy here. And that loosens that right up. Then we can take it out. Okay, and then you've got your half moon keeper here. And this just locks the cases together so they can't come apart. Your two screws, and just set them aside for now. We're gonna take these guys out here. We'll have to smack these two. Loosen that right up. All right. This keeper here that we're taking off is for the shift drum, the transmission that holds it in the right spot. So we'll get it out of the way. All right, and then we're going to take off this little arm right here, which has the spring tension on it. That's what holds it in gear. 10 millimeter. Watch your fingers. It does have a spring on it. You can see there. And we'll set it aside. And then I'm not going to take this out for right now. We're just going to go ahead and unlock the cases for now. So now that we've got it tipped up, there's bolts, or excuse me, there's nuts on the bottom. There's 8 nuts on the bottom that hold the cases together. And then there are these screws on the top. So you've got one here, one here, one here, one here, 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 and here. That's your top case bolts. So we'll do the bottom ones first. I like to use an impact. Just goes faster. Well, usually they're a 12. These ones happen to be a 13. I like to take them off kind of in a cross pattern. There is, if you look at the bottom of the cases here, you'll see that these are numbered. There's a 5 there, there's a 6 there, 7 on this side, an 8 down here, and then the other numbers are up inside the cases here. There is a pattern to putting these back together. It's not as important to take them off, but it is important when you put it back together that they all get torqued down in sequence. All right, so we got the bottom ones all done. Now we're gonna move to the top side. Now these ones happen to be Allen's. Most of the time they're a 10 millimeter, so you can use a little impact gun like this, but for this we're just gonna take these out one by one. We've already loosened them so that the video would go faster. We're just gonna take these out. And what I like to do, these are numbered as well, guys, so take a look at this. All of your top case bolts, you got a number 12 right here, you got a number 11 right here, you got a 10 over here, you got 9, you got 13. So pay attention. When you're taking them out, like I said, it's not as important to take them out in sequence, but when you're putting them in and you're torquing them down, you have to do them in sequence. Whoops. And I like to lay these out on a piece of paper that's numbered so that you make sure that these bolts all go back in the right hole. These bolts are all different lengths. So you want to make sure that they go in the right hole when you put them back in, okay? So number 9 is the first one. That's the one I'm doing right now, okay? So if I was to lay this out on a piece of paper, then I would lay it out like this. Number 9, number 10, number 11, you can see how much longer that one is, number 12, number 13, number 14 over here, number 15 on the other side. You can see that's a short one. And number 16, that's also a short one with the little holder there for the hose, the vent hose. Okay, so now we've got everything off this motor that we need to get off of it to be able to tap lightly. I always use a little dead blow hammer to tap lightly. There's 2 spots you can tap on these motors, all right? Never, 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 under any circumstances, use a screwdriver, a pry bar, anything like that to get these cases apart. If these cases don't just tap right apart, then you've probably missed a bolt or you've missed a nut on the bottom side. So if they don't tap right apart, I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to take it to the front here gently. Now this is open, you can see. You're going to want to tap here or here, not right here because you can bust this out. So we're just going to tap lightly, okay? Gonna hold it. Okay, you see it starting to come apart? And then I'll show you on the back side where you can tap. There's a little ledge right here. You can see this is made for tapping, but we're already apart here, guys. So once you get them apart, you get the cases broke apart, you're just gonna take from the front, take from the back, you're just gonna lift right up, just like this, okay? So, now it's gonna be oil, it's gonna be dirty. So just set these aside. And then your cases are split. You can go ahead and remove the crankshaft by putting your thumbs here, lifting up on each side. You gotta wiggle it. Pull your crankshaft out, inspect it, make sure it's all good. Make sure that the keepers don't come out. There is a half moon shaped keeper here, as you can see. It's down in this groove, all right? And there's no keeper here because the groove is on your crank seal, okay? Now, when I look at this, I'm seeing there's debris in here, there's metal, there's a metal chunk right here that's come from something. Okay, so obviously this motor has come apart. I think it broke a rod on this side, so you want to make sure that you don't have any chunks of anything, but you're going to take these all apart and clean them. So then you can just take your transmission out, you can set it aside, make sure you don't lose any pieces. Sometimes these little seals have some glue on them, so you got to give them a little tap. Just pull them right out, set them aside there, and now you can see your shift drum, you can see your shift forks, you can see there's also a keeper on the transmission side here, make sure you don't lose that, and there's a keeper on this transmission side as well. You can see here, you see that? So make sure you don't lose those. Make sure they're back in their hole where they're supposed to be. Okay, that's how you split cases for now. And we will be on to checking some other things out in our next video. Thanks, guys.